Hello, everybody, and welcome to my studio. It is time again for some creative practice, and believe me, I need it today. Okay, so I'm playing with this Art from My Heart meditation and symbol inspiration deck created by Sondra Bushin Criddle. The link for this is in the description of this video. So do head over there and get your own deck because this is going to change your life. Okay, so for today, I'm going to be choosing um, a card, and I just want to get the ones that I've used already out of the way because I don't want to repeat right now. For my own drawing every day, I don't mind. If something repeats over and over again, it's probably because you're not listening, and there's definitely some information that you need there. So let's just sort of shuffle the deck for the day. And I'm just asking my higher self to just connect with me and to just give me a symbol for today, for this video, that will help us. So, to the left, to the right. Let's look at this one. The moon. Oh, that is so beautiful. Okay, so we're looking at the moon and all of the phases of the moon. And this card talks about the meaning of this symbolism. Can connect with your intuition. It can be shadow work, dream messages, expanding your consciousness, feminine energy, and emotional cycles. This is definitely one for me today because yesterday was my birthday, and October month is a very interesting period for me in my life. It's my birthday month, so obviously I have things that I look forward to. It's exciting to have your birthday, but at the same time, I'm dealing with some other issues that sort of happens at the same time of my birthday. Like maybe some of you know, I've lost both my parents, luckily not at the same time. But my mom passed away, I think in 1994, and it was just a few days after my birthday, so that was rather sad. And then about 5 years ago now, my father passed away on my birthday. So I think that will sort of bring things into perspective for you when I say it is a bittersweet period of the year for me. It's spring, it's a new awakening, it's my birthday. The city of Pretoria is like purple with all of the jacarandas blooming, so it's really beautiful all around me. And it is a beautiful time of the year, and I do appreciate it. But I have this duality of emotions that I deal with. So it's both joy for my birthday, it's fun to get that personal attention from everyone, and of course to celebrate your birthday. But it's at the same time, at the background, there is a little bit of sadness, there's a bit of missing, there is a bit of grief at the back. Even though I've processed my parents' death, I think because it's the anniversary of that transition and it sort of coincides with my birthday, with Halloween. Not that I really celebrate Halloween, but it's in the consciousness soup floating around there. So, looking at the moon, I think for me is really interesting because it talks about all of these cycles. New moon, where there is no moon sort of visible in the sky, is a symbolistic or a metaphor for new beginnings. And then you have the whole process of becoming a full moon all the way till we have a full moon. And right now, it's almost full moon. It's really bright at night. So that is the manifestation of all of your intentions. It is the what is the word? The full circle or half circle for that matter. It is the, what is the word I'm looking for? Besides manifestation, it is the, I don't know, fulfillment. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. It's the fulfillment of your intentions. It's the arrival of what you set in motion with a new moon. And then you've got the waning moon phase again, where that energy releases and runs out slowly all the way to just repeat itself. So we have this beautiful cyclical kind of effect with the moons. And the moon for me also reminds me of the divine feminine. It's bringing some light into the dark, which is why we sort of mentioned shadow work. So for me, it's like looking at some of my emotional and mental shadows that may sort of move around, and that is drawing my attention. And also looking at my dream messages and expanding my consciousness, a lot of feminine energy, and yes, the full blown of emotional cycles. So the moon is then going to be my theme for today in my art journal. And funny enough, I prepared this page in my art journal earlier this morning, and I decided to put white geisha on here. I can't tell you why. I didn't know I was going to be drawing the moon. And so, I'm going to just make it work. I haven't decided which medium I want to work in, but all I know is whatever I'm going to grab, I'm just going to use it to express myself and to represent the moon in its form here on my page. And let's just see how we get there. So I'm going to go and dig in my art supplies and see what inspires me. And when I get back, we're going to get the moon on this page. Right, so let's get this ball rolling. So what I've got here, I've got my Mars black out from my liquid fluid acrylics. And I've got some Prussian blue. And I got some charcoal. So I thought, let's get maybe not a full moon going. I've done a full moon before. So I'm sort of in the mood today for a crescent moon of some sort. Let's just see how this sort of flows for us. And then I think what I'm going to create is some stars in the background with some splatter, and we'll see how this unfolds. Let's not run ahead. But I do feel this is a lot of fun to just feel the texture of the charcoal on this geisha. And maybe the crescent moon can hold a full moon as well. Just familiarizing myself with my space here and whatever expression I want to give to myself, my feelings, my mental state, and responding to the page in a moment. So I guess you can call it intuitive painting because I've got no plan. So I'm going to use my Mars black fluid acrylics here. It's got a lovely tip. So I'm just going to outline this crescent moon. And I do like this sort of circle that's sitting here as well. So let's get a brush and see what happens. I'm going to go for quite a broad brush. And I'm activating it here on my left with my water. Now the charcoal is going to smear and the fluid paint is going to release. So let's see what happens when we give expression to this beautiful fluidity here. And I mean, if it doesn't work, we can always paint over it again. And sort of lightly, it feels like a theme to me. And with that I mean, it's like I start something and it's really cute and I like where it's going, and then suddenly it doesn't work for me anymore. And I feel like that is where I learn something, that is where I grow in my art, is when something isn't working out exactly the way I sort of envisioned it from the beginning. It's normal in creating art. So sometimes you must just embrace it. No point in getting frustrated or to give up with your creative practice because something isn't quite panning out the way that you envisioned it. And usually it's my perfectionistic sort of side, and I'm very aware of that because I know that that is a part of me that wants to take over and take charge and take control of everything in my life. It's such an unrealistic goal or expectation to have. I think perfectionism is really part of an underlying PTSD or stressor or trauma. So it's definitely not something to be proud of in the sense of I'm a perfectionist. I think it screams hurt. It screams fear of rejection. It screams being in control and not liking that feeling of not being in control. So sometimes it's a good idea to just allow things to flow and to just come out the way it wants to come out. Allow that shadow to show up and then look it squarely in the eyes. There's this part in Dune, the science fiction story where they talk about fear, and fear is the mind controller and killer, and the only way to control the fear is to allow it to pass through you. And in a way that's true, because emotions is expressed and processed by being present with them and acknowledging our feelings. So I guess in the case of shadow work, it's all about acknowledging the shadow, acknowledging the nightmare, acknowledging the fear that is hidden behind it. And sometimes it's anger. It's not even fear. Sometimes it's anger. Sometimes it's abandonment and not feeling worthy or good enough, or all of those kind of feelings. So today we allow the gentle light of the moon to shine its light on our shadow, that part that we are afraid of, that part that we want to hide for the rest of the world, and just give yourself permission to explore it and to maybe just give that shadow a little bit of a comfort and say, you know what, it's okay. Come out of the dark. You don't have to sit there in this corner and hide and be afraid and feel lonely. Come here. Let me give you some attention and find out what it is that you really need. How can I comfort you? How can I provide for my inner child what I clearly need and what I haven't received? And that's maybe exactly where the inner child is stuck in your subconscious mind, hence the shadow. And maybe in giving your inner child exactly what it needs, now that you are the adult, you can bring some healing to that inner child and calm that fear and just give it some space. And say it's okay, you're not alone. I do like this texture and vibe that I have going here. So the fluid acrylics is really giving me almost a translucency here, which is great because I'm seeing some marks, which is fun. We can always fix that. Okie dokie. I think that's a great start. I think I must let this dry, and when I come back I can make a decision about how I'm gonna make this pretty. Right, everybody, this is sort of dry, but we can't wait all day. So I'm gonna make this moon a little bit rounder. It looks a little bit like an egg. So I've got some titanium white here, and I thought I would maybe just glaze over this moon with this amazing floral coral from Iris and just give it a bit of a harvest moon kind of, I don't know, glow. Even though it's not harvest time here in the southern hemisphere, I'm sort of just connecting a little bit with the Halloween theme a little bit without going all the way there. But seeing that I've got a lot of American friends and they celebrate Halloween, I thought, let's make it relevant and yeah, there's no reason why not to, right? Okay, so I've just got a round brush here, quite big, and I'm just using my titanium white. So let's just sort of see where we can correct this shape a little bit. That already feels a little bit better to me. Nice. And again, it's my art journal. It's not about perfection. It's all about expression. And just to give yourself permission to just play with paint and create some shapes and see what happens. Let's build the back side of the moon a little bit more as well. Again, like I said last week, for me a creative practice is very mindful, very present. It is my way of meditating, even though I'm sharing with you guys. I'm trying to be present with the brush and the paint and the shape that I'm trying to just ground on this piece. I really like that sort of streaky effect. It's almost like a bit of a mistiness or a cloudiness, a haziness that's in the sky. So it's going to look pretty with a bit of splatter over it. So I quite like that. But I do feel it is time to take this to a creative place. So let's see what will happen if we just give this full moon bit here on the right a little bit of a glow. So I'm going to use my round mop brush, goat mop, and I'm just going to, and I'm using it dry, the brush is dry. So I just want to give this moon a little bit of a glow. And we will maybe go just slightly outside of our little shape. Giving the moon a little bit of a vibe. And remember, the moon has craters, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I quite like that already. That's quite nice. Now what we're going to do with this crescent moon, maybe we can play with a little bit of gold, or shall we do silver, seeing that it's the moon? What do you guys think? Gold or silver? Okay, let's start with silver. We can always put gold on top. Okie dokie. Now, what line work will inspire me? Let's do like mandala. Triangular shape came forward. That's interesting. So triangles are symbols of strength and also of spirituality. Circles. Circles are symbols of unity, oneness, inclusiveness, protection. Nice. Let's do some, I feel like, some elliptical shapes. And the paint isn't even dry yet. I just don't have the strength or the energy today for switching on and off and getting my hair dryer out to dry the paint. It's quite hot here in South Africa today. Well, particularly here in Pretoria. I mean, South Africa is big. It's a little bit of a heat wave. And it's only spring now. The weather sure is a bit crazy. I like that. I think the silver worked there a little bit. Let's pick another silver. Let's see, how many silvers have you got here? This is a little bit more, not acrylic, this is permanent ink. That's nice. Am I lying to myself? No, I'm not. Okay, this is inspiration. So I sort of just saw a little bit of a radial halo effect in my mind. So let's give expression to that. Nice. Okay, let's do a little bit of a circle and a dot. That's not even on my page anymore, but that's okay. I like that. I just felt like doing that. You can hear the squeakies. I feel like doing an arrow here. That's maybe pointing the way forward. Awesome. Okay. What else can we do here? I do feel like the silver is very flat and I want a little bit of gold. What about a little bit of a bronze? A bronze can look nice as a bit of a change. Let's see. I really don't have a neat handwriting, and I think that's why I also don't like drawing per se, because my shapes with drawing always feels a little bit wonky to me, just like my handwriting. It's never the perfect little circle. There's always a bump in the road that stops my pen from moving, and then it's these squiggies. So it's these squiggies then. Let's make squiggies then. My creative practice is really about embracing the marks that I make, the shapes that it looks like. And it really is a practice for me in not giving in to that perfectionistic side of myself, because I have no idea what I'm doing here. I am just going with the flow. The camera is rolling, the paint is sticking, there's an air of frustration in my mind, and I am just looking for a safe space where I can express myself and just acknowledge what I'm feeling and giving expression to it, and allowing myself just to be present with this inner child that is finally given permission to grab the stuff out of the coloring box or the crayons and just to color in. If it is inside the lines, outside the lines, neat or tidy, that's not really important. What is important for me right now is just to give expression to what I'm feeling and to allow my inner child and the shadow aspect that is grieving within inside me just a safe space to express and let go and to feel safe and not to be criticized and to try and change what is wanting to come forth in some way, shape or form. It is already feeling better to me now that we have a little bit of variety. Let's try and make a line on the outside of our moon here. So if you are inspired by today's prompt, how would you represent the moon in your art journal? How will you play with this theme? And what aspects of this symbolism got your attention that you said, oh, that's interesting, I'm sort of into that, or I understand that, or I resonate with that? And how would you give expression to that in your art journal? I'm curious and I would love to find out. So why don't you share with me an image of your exercise in your art journal? This is just a pink metallic pen that I picked up. And share it with me on the Creative Art group. Sometimes they dry. I love myself, I love my inner child, I accept myself, I'm worthy, I'm enough, I give myself permission to just not struggle, to just allow whatever this marker wants to do. If it's dry, then it's dry. Then I'm embracing the dryness. If it doesn't want to draw on this background, it's okay. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to persist until something pretty emerges from this struggle. Let's repeat this pink somewhere else. It's a pink metallic marker, so it should give a nice reflection. And by repeating a color somewhere, it brings harmony to the whole exercise. Now that the pen has got its fluidity going, it's starting to look a little bit better to me. Maybe each of these circles is a moon on its own in an alternative reality somewhere. Repetition is such a powerful, powerful thing, because then it sort of makes sense. It looks a little bit more intentional. How pretty is this pink on the white background? Cuteness. Alrighty. What else have I got here that I think I want to play with? Here's another type of gold pen. Let me activate it on my palette here. There we go. A spiral is a universal symbol. It talks about continuity. It's never ending. It's also representing the cycles of the moon, the universe, of life. I think our human mind experiences time as linear from A to Z, but it's not the way it works. Life, in fact, works in a spiral. It's ever upward moving, and it sometimes can feel to you in your life like you've arrived at exactly the same problem, the same challenge, the same situation, even the same people, but it's different to the first time in that it's another aspect, almost like the layers of an onion. It's another core element that is unveiled, a deeper point of experience of maybe a similar theme or idea. So it's the same, but it's also different. Therein was also some repetition. I feel like I need more of this gold. Let's add some of the gold inside here. The gold is a little bit more masculine. The silver is a little bit more feminine. But I do like a bit of a balance there. I'm a real Libra. Let's see what's... Okay, white Posca. Let's see what we can do with white Posca. Let's activate it. Here we go. That's nice and easy. I don't know. What do you want to give expression to? Let's make some white dots in here. Oops. Good example. I just wanted the flow to improve, not for a big blob, but you know, welcome big blob. Are any of you guys participating in Inktober? Maybe that's your thing. I tried, but like I say, pen and ink is not my favorite medium. I find it very frustrating and it doesn't take me to a happy place. I prefer brush and paint and smear to careful line work and cross hatching, and I don't always enjoy the feeling of pen on paper, that squeaky, scratchy sound. I tend to press too hard, and yeah, so it's definitely a skill that can be developed. And again, if that activates your creative center, then maybe something like Zentangles or doodling can be an amazing way to give expression to your inner child, to bring you into the same zone as I like to enter with my art and painting practice. Okay, we did some white there. I think we need some... Let's maybe bring this moon shape back again in a nice clear way. Welcome back, everybody. So, okay, we've played, we've drawn, but I'm not happy with it yet. In that sense that I feel I've given myself expression, but I still want it to be pretty as well. So, I guess another layer is exactly what the doctor ordered. So, let me grab a brush. Let's maybe grab a flat brush. And I've got here some very pale yellow, and that's very translucent, so I'm adding a little bit of titanium white to it, and I'm taking most of it off my brush because I just want to give this moon a little bit of another layer. So I'm not trying to cover everything up underneath. And I'm definitely not in the mood to paint an actual moon today. I just want to be a little bit more abstract about it. And I'm going to do the same with my crescent moon. It's very, very hot in the studio today. So I feel I need to just grab my mister, my humidifier, because my paint is not doing what I want it to do. So let's add a bit of moisture. That should do the trick, yes. There we go. That feels a little bit better to me. So let's play with this blush. Maybe this crescent moon also needs a bit of blush. Just a suggestion. That feels so much prettier to me. We still have the pattern and the line work. It's definitely feeling like an improvement to me. Let's rinse that off. Now I thought of using my mop brush here and just rinse it nicely to make the background darker again. I'm going to use a little bit of my Payne's Grey acrylic ink. Okay, I'm not going to put it on there. I'm going to put it on my palette. And I might need more. So let's get our mop brush covered in that. And I'm just going to give this a wash, a glaze, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of this, especially here. There we go. Nice. So because the markers are more oil-based, it's not acrylic markers, we have a little bit of a resist sort of vibe there, but that's nice. Again, something I didn't expect. It's all experimental, people. Nice. I like the effect, actually. So I'm keeping my brush marks here in a very radial kind of fashion. So it just quiets that line work down a little bit without removing it or covering it up completely. Like that. Nice. Just quiet it down. Fabulous. Okay. I'm gonna have to let this dry because what I want to do now when I come back is just add a bit of starlight splatter and we'll see what it looks like then. So I'll be right back. Right, everybody. So I've got my white acrylic ink here. Let me put that there. And I've got a little bit of a modified fan brush. And what I mean with modified is I literally just cut some of it off on the side so it's not so wide. So I'm just going to dip this into my acrylic ink and I'm going to just splatter. And because the acrylic ink is so fluid, it makes life a lot easier when you want to do a bit of splatter. Just be careful not to load too much ink on your brush because you can get a big blob by accident. So that feels nice to me. We'll clump some together closer. There's more stars in those regions. And I want to add a little bit to the moon as well, just for some texture. So I dried this quickly because I want to just remove this tape with you guys. Nice. So it's always a good idea just to warm up your masking tape and to pull slightly away from your artwork just in case it does catch the paper so that it doesn't tear into your artwork. It's very satisfying. And I like to do a bit of a border because it sort of satisfies that little bit of a perfectionist in me because it gives me a very tidy, clean border to sort of surround the chaos. And in that, again, it's a bit of contrast because of the tidiness of the border, the chaos is a little bit more acceptable to my mind today. So I'm embracing the moonlight and just loving how using this symbol helps me to explore some thoughts, ideas, and feelings within me that relates to that. And the whole point that this came up today as the symbol for my creative practice was just so fitting because it really resonates with me at this time in my life. And yes, I am happy that I could give expression to this in my art journal and just allow it to be with me for a minute. So I'm going to put it on the other side of my studio for me this week to look at and to remind myself to just be in the flow with the cycles of life and to celebrate the light and the dark that both brings balance to our lives. So I hope that you were inspired this week with this creative prompt. I'm really curious, like I say, to see if you will give expression to this theme in your art journal. And if you do, then please share it with me on the Creative Heart. All of the links are in the description of this video, and I'm looking forward to spend another Creative Heart session with you guys real soon. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again. Bye bye for now.